In recent years, Hollywood has been making sequels, remakes, and reboots to just about everything. So it was just a matter of time before they finally did it to a fucking biopic. Chappie is a sequel to the 1992 film Chaplin, starring Robert Downey Jr. as Charlie Chaplin. This sequel picks up with Charlie Chaplin being frozen in ice, like Captain America, and then being unfrozen in modern times. And then hijinks ensue. Hey, Hollywood, come here. That was a joke. Please don't fucking do that. Chappie is actually the newest movie from Neill Blomkamp, the director of District 9 and Elysium. This movie takes place in the very far-off future of 2016. In the city of Johannesburg, crime is so out of control that they launch robotic law enforcement. Then, short circuit happens. Dev Patel plays Dion in the movie. He is the creator of the police force robots. He has been working on an artificial intelligence program and wants to test it out. On his way home to do his experiment, Dion is kidnapped by 3 criminals who desperately need money because of a botched job earlier in the film. 2 of the criminals are played by South African rappers Yolandi Visser and Ninja, and they both actually play gangster versions of themselves. They use their same names as they use for rapping. Several times throughout the movie, you'll see them wearing clothes with their faces on them, and you'll also hear their rap tracks throughout the movie. I don't know how noticeable it wouldn't be if somebody hadn't pointed it out before I saw the movie, but it is there. And I did notice it a little bit. It didn't really detract me because I didn't know who they were to begin with. Both of them are rocking pretty hardcore mullets. So after they kidnap Dion, he decides to run his artificial intelligence program on the robot that will become known as Chappie. These are some of the dumbest criminals I've ever seen. After he runs the program on the robot, they let him just leave. And also, he's a pretty fucking dumb genius. I mean, he's got to be a genius to make the robots to begin with, but he's got to be a fucking moron not to just go to the cops as soon as he escapes from them who are holding him at gunpoint. So after he leaves, Chappie ends up staying with the criminals and learning their ways. Chappie is also very conflicted because he is innocent, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. This movie has 2 main villains. The villain at the corporation Dion works for is Vincent, played by Hugh Jackman, who of course you know from Kate and Leopold. Hugh Jackman is very upset with Dion because he had an alternative program to Dion's full robotic program, which used humans. He also seems to have an innate distrust towards robots in general. Hugh Jackman is also rocking a pretty hardcore mullet. I haven't seen this much business in the front and party in the rear since Joe Dirt. Hugh Jackman's character, I think, is the one that gets shortchanged the most in the movie. They should have spent more time with him kind of going into his reasoning for being such a fucking dick. The other villain is a gangster named Hippo, played by Brandon Arat, or Uray, I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced. He essentially plays the techno-Viking with guns. And Hippo is mad at the 3 criminals for the botched job at the beginning of the film. If that sounds a bit convoluted, it's because it is. My biggest thing against the movie is that the story really should have been refined. I think you could have gotten rid of the whole criminal part of it, at least relegated them to a much smaller part. You could have had Chappie go home with his creator and, you know, kind of be taught about life or learn about things and maybe go loose on his own into the city and then have some of the experience he did have through them. It would probably be more interesting if they just had Chappie just kind of trying to figure out life. This movie also has a lot of thought-provoking ideas that it kind of throws in there but doesn't really follow through with. The idea of whether or not if he would go to heaven if he died, that's kind of mentioned but then not really followed through on, not really thought about or dwelled on. And I think that would have been a more interesting movie if they really focused on more of the questions that artificial intelligence raises. The special effects in this movie look great, specifically Chappie. He is played by Sharlto Copley, who played the main character in District 9 and the bad guy in Elysium. He does a very good job bringing Chappie to life. He really conveys the character well through voice and just through his physical actions. A nice choice they made in the film was having the antennae, or whatever the fuck they are, on the top of his head that work essentially as ears. He kind of acts like a dog, so it helps convey his emotion, like if he's scared, he might go down. 2 things in particular in this movie remind me of RoboCop. The robot police force actually sounds like RoboCop when they talk, except for Chappie, who gets his own voice once he becomes self-aware. The other thing is the big fucking robot known as Moose looks a lot like ED-209. Outside of like 1 or 2 shots with that ED-209 looking motherfucker, the special effects look great. I do, however, have a problem with the ending. It seemed a bit too easy. Chappie's intelligence jumped up out of fucking nowhere, and he was able to do something with ease that it seemed like he shouldn't be able to do. The movie is kind of a strange mix of action, sci-fi, and comedy. There is one particular scene where Chappie is unwittingly carjacking people, and that is actually pretty hilarious. So again, the movie does have great special effects, a great performance by Sharlto Copley, and it can be thought-provoking. On the negative side, the movie does gloss over those thought-provoking ideas Doesn't really ever delve into them much. It has a convoluted story, and Yolandi Visser and Ninja can be kind of grating. Specifically Ninja. Yolandi kind of grows on you just because of her relationship with Chappie. This movie is rated B. So what is your favorite modern sci-fi movie? I'm going to keep modern at 2000 and later. Mine is Looper. Bruce Willis actually gave a shit in that movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a really good impression of him, and did look like him for that movie. So let me know what your favorite modern sci-fi movie is. Make your mark below. Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. And Hippo is very hungry. Seems really strange that this movie takes place 1 year in the future. I don't know why you wouldn't just make it modern day. Does he have some, like, inside knowledge on a company currently making these or something? It's just a little strange. You'd think you'd do something like Back to the Future 2, so it has way more time not to come true, right? Because now he's going to be proven wrong in, like, what? 10 months? I predict this beer's going to be finished right now. I was right.